So that particular experience taught me that you are wildly capable to achieve more than you ever thought possible. Like the full embodiment of Ephesians 3:20, right? Like his ways, they're
yes.
so much higher. In all
God.
the ways, and all the stretching of, like
Yes,
mentally,
all the things. Yeah.
spiritually, and physically, all of the stretching had to occur.
Completely.
Yeah.
I
So,
had a maternity and infant boutique. I don't know if you knew this about me. It was my college project in business school that was brought to life with my mom for several years. It actually just recently got sold after 8 years of co-owning, and then my mom owning it some here locally. But there was a wristband, like a really pretty bracelet that was magnetic, and it talked about the Bible verse of Colossians of expanding your territory. And it was not intentional for maternity, but I always thought it was hilarious
yeah.
because it has a duality that most people wouldn't see unless you're a mom. You get it on a whole nother understanding
I
of
need like all of
quadruplets.
those bands.
The sanity. Like I was having a conversation earlier with someone, like no one prays about suffering. No one wants the patience virtue very much or fruit. How much patience you must have cultivated with 4 children. Did you have help?
So I'm an Enneagram 8, which is the challenger. So it's like, I'm
Okay.
figuring out how to do this. I don't need your help. But once we got them back home, because they were in the NICU for quite some time.
Sure.
And once we got them back home, my husband and I were like, okay, we're going to do this. But they were eating every 2 hours, and it would take them a full hour to eat. And so it was just like, we were not sleeping at all.
Oh my
So it was
gosh.
after about 2 weeks of that we were like, white flags, all the white flags. Send
Yeah.
reinforcements.
Send
Yeah,
in
and we
reinforcements
did.
for
We had
sure.
to get everybody that was willing to do any kind of help to come up. Yeah.
Wow. I feel like like you're talking about the controller, that I'm the Enneagram 3. I would feel like so defeated in that. Was that
Yeah.
hard for you to like, or it didn't even matter at this point because you just realized
Right.
there's no possibility without it?
Right. It really did teach me so much about surrender.
Mhm.
I, again, like you asked in the very beginning, how this affected my faith walk in every single aspect. It's affected
Yeah.
my faith walk, and
Yeah.
how I relate to Christ and how I relate to the word, and really embodying all aspects of scripture. And just, I mean, he just connected everything for me. I think he knew that's what I needed as the challenger.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
it was hard to let go, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So were you a part, because I haven't got to share all of your bio with everybody yet, that you were a former mastery trainer with Tony Robbins and Dean
Yeah.
Graziosi. I actually love Dean. I was
Yeah.
akin to him before I was ever akin to Tony. But in that realm, were you doing that pre quadruplets?
No, this was after. So this was
Right.
in 2020. So they
Okay.
were, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah. They were at least
Whatever
able
that
to
was.
wipe their butt, right? They were
Yeah,
wiping
pretty
their
much.
butt and maybe
Yeah.
making some food here and there, or at least
Yeah.
grabbing a snack.
Grabbing definitely all the snacks. They've got that down pat.
Is it 4 boys? Did we clarify
No,
that?
it's 3 boys and a girl. So we
How
had 2
cool.
boys, and we were like, let's go for a girl. And then I got 3 boys and a girl. So it's cool.
Oh, God has such a good sense of humor. Do you have a different dynamic with each of them
Yeah, they're
relationally?
all different.
Isn't that
Absolutely.
wild?
I mean, their love language is all different. They learn differently. They're athletically
Ugh,
inclined differently. And I'm like, yeah, in the same womb at the same time.
so it gives you a whole new understanding of the 12 tribes of Israel,
Yep.
right?
In my,
Like
in my belly.
I mean, wow, it's so neat. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's not even like, yes, it's your life's work because they're, of course, like an element of your legacy, but it's
Yeah.
not necessarily your life's work. Like you're spending so much of your time developing kingdom entrepreneurs, like I am, which is so fun. And you have a specific methodology. Was that methodology born and bred after they were? And was it through your experience with Tony Robbins and Dean that it kind of came to a new understanding?
So the Arise framework,
Yeah.
that all came from that journey. I had this like 5-year storm,
Yeah.
which included being pregnant with the quads, because that whole like physical journey in
Oh, I
itself,
can imagine.
and having my doctors tell me there's no way, you need to reduce down to 2, like all of that just I
Holy
mean,
moly.
I battled for my babies. And just everything that I went through. My dad got diagnosed and died of Alzheimer's when he was just 63 years old. My brother is an alcoholic and he lived with us for a time. He almost died twice. I had to shut down my brick and mortar company. I had a big walkout and betrayal. And it was like this big storm period.
Yeah,
5
for
years, where just
real.
all this life is happening, and it was through that God really showed me about the afflictions that people endure and how we are supposed to be the light. And it's not by our own strength. It's not by anything that we do. It's because we reflect the glory and the brilliance of the Lord in our life. And that's where our shine comes from.
Yeah.
And so that whole framework is how to get rid of all that has tarnished your shine and allow the reflection of Christ to be in your life. And that's what it's all about. And working with Tony and Dean, that came after. But again, having lived through that, having developed processes, and there was a time where I was like, what is all this for, Lord?
Yeah, I could imagine.
Thank you for thinking of me to be the mom of these 4 babies at once. But like, are you sure? Because it was hard.
Yeah,
It was
of
hard.
course. I mean, I don't even feel, and I know you don't compare in that regard, but I don't feel equipped to even talk about my babies just being like 16 and a half months apart and like how hard that was. I'm just like, I'm gonna throw that one in the woods. I can't even imagine. And yet
it's a different level,
Yeah,
it's different.
For sure. And I think that again, you were obviously equipped because God would have entrusted you with the challenge in that regard. But it's knowing that it wasn't just that, it was like all of these other storms transpiring simultaneously.
Yeah.
And the mission that's on your life to help people understand joy from another element, and the element being God. Like, did you, in your other brick and mortar, even that you mentioned, did you infuse your faith the way that you do now, or it was that season of debauchery that brought you into sharing it and teaching it?
No, I always knew. I mean, I have you can't, there it is. Tattoo. It's Proverbs 16:3, which is what my salon company was established on.
Yeah.
And so I always brought in that element of faith. And I thought, Lord, I'm going to lead all these creative women to you, and it's going to be great. And what I found was that after 7 years, I had actually allowed a lot more of the outside in than the other way around.
Wow.
I hadn't been as protective, of what was getting in, because I was in it so much, that I wasn't aware. I wasn't on guard.
Good.
And it's so necessary to pay attention to what's getting in. It just is. And I'm much more on guard about, and it's helped me so much. And I pay attention to what's on my social media. I pay attention on what I watch. And again, he uses it for good.